Ben Taleblu joins us now for more. He is a senior fellow at Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Ben, welcome back to you. So what do you think of the timing of this meeting? What does that suggest to you? And then what are you expecting to see from these two leaders?
Well, it's a pleasure to be with you. The timing, make no mistake, is important and historic because this is the first foreign visit of a foreign leader to the United States under the second-term Trump administration. And really, there's a lot more than meets the eye here. This is not just about, if you had to ask me, a hostage deal, a potential extension, as some outlets are alleging, of a potential phase one, or talk about securing just the Eastern Mediterranean. This is about setting the pieces in place for a much larger vision that both leaders have for the region. But naturally, there's going to be bumps along the way towards achieving that vision. And one of the major bumps will be the future of Gaza, as one talks about that bigger, grander deal that both politicians have hinted at before. And that's kind of an Abraham Accords 2.0, or the American brokered normalization between Saudi Arabia and Israel. So while all eyes are rightly on Gaza amid this previously negotiated three-part ceasefire deal, we have to think bigger picture here. And I'm sure that's what the president and the prime minister will be discussing tomorrow, I believe.
Along those lines, the visit coincides with Israel and Hamas beginning negotiations for the second phase of a ceasefire hostage deal. What are the biggest challenges the Trump administration faces in keeping this deal working and alive?
Well, the administration is quite proud of the deal, who, under Steve Witkoff, negotiated this three-part framework with the Israelis. But the challenges for the Israelis, at least politically, internally, there's going to be more speed bumps when it comes to one of the military elements of phase two, which is the withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza. And also a kind of a compounding political question will be what to do with all the Palestinian refugees in the area. And make no mistake, both of those two U.S. major allies, the Egyptians on one side and the Jordanians on the other, have already publicly pushed back against some of the Trump commentary in the proposal to temporarily, at least, take some of the Palestinians so that the Gaza Strip could be rebuilt. So there's going to be political and practical speed bumps for phase two, which is why, if one believes the allegations and reporting floating around Washington today, that the Israelis may seek a phase one extension.
Speaking of speed bumps, maybe not so much in Gaza, but in other parts of the Middle East, we just heard Caitlin Burke report President Trump has talked about expanding the Abraham Accords to establish ties between Israel and Saudi Arabia. How does Trump's push for an Israeli-Saudi normalization deal tie into the ceasefire negotiations?
Well, the Middle East is a kaleidoscopic place. You have all the same facts on the ground, but every time you add something new into the context, it's like spinning a kaleidoscope. All the same pieces align in a fundamentally different way. So the real art of the deal for the Trump administration in term two is how to keep these two most important pieces of the U.S. Kind of order in the region in place, and that's the Saudis and the Israelis. And how you move along from phase one to phase two and phase three matters very much. How you deal with the Palestinian issue deals very much, particularly after October 7, and how you deal what's left with the Iran-backed axis in the region, which is exactly what Prime Minister Netanyahu referred to, as well as, of course, the world's foremost state sponsor of terrorism, the Islamic Republic of Iran, lurking in the shadows.
We will leave it right there. Behnam Ben Taleblu with FDD, thank you so much for your time and your expertise tonight.